they're getting something a little bit extra because they sent you referrals.
Yep.
Plain coffee mug to the losers.
Mm-hmm.
You get a nice coffee mug to the people that sent you some business.
Yeah, I always say if you're going to do a lunch and learn and you bring in like Subway sandwiches, for example.
Love those.
And everybody gets one, and then one person gets steak and lobster, which you would like Subway more than steak and lobster. But
I would.
Steak and lobster and champagne for the person that sent over the most business. Now that gift is different than everybody else's because of the referrals that you're getting.
Yep. So you're treating someone different. And again, it's a question of fact. They will look at the total picture of this and say, yeah, it looks like you did everything correct, but something just doesn't add up here. Right. And that's when they're going to come down on you. So a little more trivia here. Santa, this guy is no slacker.
Right.
So this is science.
Okay.
This is good science.
Okay.
So the Earth, 25 million square miles.
Mm-hmm.
You got about 500 million households worldwide with kids that are looking for gifts. Santa's only got 24 hours to deliver gifts. That means Santa's got to be traveling at 1,367 miles per second.
That's including the time that he's dropping the gifts off?
That's all in. That's what he's got, of all those steps.
Wow.
This guy's the Vin Diesel of gift delivery.
He is.
Bro is moving.
I wonder if he wears an Apple Watch so he can find how many steps that is.
Probably does.
That would be interesting.
That's got to be 10,000 steps times. That's a lot of steps.
That's a lot of steps.
That's a lot of steps.
Yeah.
Santa's getting it done. He's no part-timer.
Yeah.
So I want to make a strong stand on that today.
Which you haven't always said good things about Santa in the past.
I haven't, but that's another story. So here we go. Let's look at what other agencies required. Again, it's the company that we keep. We think we know what we can do. Do we know what our co-marketers are doing? It's the golden handcuffs. If you are doing co-marketing with other real estate agents, you're all kind of tied in together. And when the agent shows up and says, we're allowed to do this, and they're pressuring you, and we hear this all the time. The agent says it's okay to do this. Pull out the NAR docs, pull out your state's real estate agency guideline, look it over, and make sure that what they're saying is correct. So Santa's good list. You got to pay your proper share, and you got to pay fair market value. That's the creation, design, distribution of co-marketing. Thing of value, it's going to be a benefit or concession. It's good to document how the co-marketing expenses are calculated because they will ask about that if there's an issue that comes up. And those agencies might look at the real estate side first, then they're going to come over to the loan officer side.
Yep.
You're tied in together. It's the golden handcuffs. Maintain a written co-marketing agreement, and Santa's naughty list. Let's see here again. They say don't directly or indirectly defray expenses, which is what we talked about before. And I think people forget about that. That's not just paying for somebody's license and education. If you're paying something indirectly that frees up their cash so they can use it for business, then that is defrayment.
Yep.
Avoiding, we see this all the time. Avoiding terms like preferred service provider, partner, or similar designations.
Referral partner.
Yeah, because we know what it means in the industry, but a 21-year-old that just inherited $50,000 and wants to get a house doesn't know. They don't know what that means.
Right.
So we got to be careful with that.
Yep.
I love this one too from NAR. No single gatekeeper with third-party marketing and LO agency agreements. So make sure you have a separate agreement. If the agent and the LO are doing some kind of co-marketing deal, make sure you have separate agreements with the third party. You're not just relying on one party to take care of that for you.
Yeah, definitely. And what I recommended for people back in 2020 is if you had an agreement where they were marketing to everybody that walks in the door, and you've got posters and you've got flyers, you have business cards, but there's a time frame that nobody's walking in the door because of lockdown. There was a lot of offices that were just completely empty with nobody coming in. So are you still paying to market when nobody's walking in? So it's not just one time you set the agreement. It's constantly reviewed to find out if we're still getting what we're paying for.
Exactly. And make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. If it's a 2-day lunch and learn and one person's kind of sliding by, one person is showing up on day one, other person doesn't show up on day 2, you got to make sure everyone is doing what they're supposed to do under the agreement.
Yep.
And that's a good idea to go back and check those. So the California Department of Real Estate, and every state's probably going to have something similar to this. So this is what they require of real estate agents for advertising. And again, if you are doing co-marketing, definitely print this out for your state so you know what's required on the other side of the table. So false advertising, pretty good rule here. It says claiming ignorance when one should have known the truth is not a defense, nor is carelessness or negligence.
Is that plausible deniability?
It is.
Is that what that is?
It is. So truthful advertising agent must be able to substantiate any advertising information upon department request. And bait and switch, we love this one in the loan world. Using terms like terms and conditions apply should not materially alter the offer. And we see that all the time.
Yep.
It's like, well, we want to have a link over here. We want to have something going over there. It's got to click 3 buttons to get there.
Oh, yeah.
Can't be doing that stuff. Professional designations, this one gets missed all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you from personal experience, when a co-marketing piece comes across my desk and I look into it and the agent is making certain claims, I look into it.
Mm-hmm.
So if the real estate agent is marketing that they're an engineer or a lawyer, they have to be licensed and in good standing. And that happens all the time. If you have
Really?
if you have an attorney who's an agent, and they're not currently, they're inactive because they're not practicing law.
Right.
They cannot promote themselves as an attorney.